All right, so we're going to look at some ways that people add. And so if we look at this standard algorithm, and that's a 6, you get 10. So 0 left over, you'd regroup 1, and then you get 10, 13. So you'd have to regroup 10 of those, so 3 with 1 regrouping. Here you get 12. Again, you'd regroup 10, so 2 left over, 1 regrouping, and you would get your sum. All right, and so some other ways, one would be partial sums, and this really looks at place values. So the person might start with hundreds, add those, then tens, and then ones, or vice versa, doesn't matter. But so you're looking at your ones position, and you're really focusing on the values. So not a 3 and a 9, but really a 30 and a 90, and not a 9 and a 2, but really a 900 and a 200. So you end up with 10. You end up with what? 120, 9, 10, so 1100. And then you add up what you have. So 1230. But again, in partial sums, you're really focusing on place value. The other thing is we want people to understand they can break numbers apart. And so they might want to kind of move things around a little bit. And so someone might be like, you know what, I'm going to take this 6 here. I'm going to make it a 0. And I'm going to give that 6 to the second number. So I'm going to break off the 6 from here, and I'm going to give it to that number. So then I have 930, and then this guy becomes 300. And so again, I still get the same sum, but I decompose that number. You might see people rewriting it like, let's see, kind of breaking it up with a line. So like 930, and then the 6, and then maybe kind of doing this kind of thing, you know, to kind of show that. But again, the idea there is they're breaking apart the numbers and just moving some of the value around. Sometimes people round. So I might look at this and be like, well, I really want to round that up to 300. So I'm literally changing the number. I'm not decomposing and breaking one number to give to the other. I'm just rounding it up. And so I get that sum. But then I realize, you know, I can't just change this number. So what did I do? I subtracted we're adding here. I added too much, right? I added 6 too much because I rounded up by 6. So this number, my sum is going to be 6 too big. So then subtract. All right. And then another method that we could do is just our base 10 blocks. So we have 9 flats for that first number. And then we have 3 longs and then 6 singles. And then the second number, we're given this, 9. And then 4 singles. All right, and so here I'm really literally using the blocks to add. So I'm going to maybe change my colors here a little bit. So I'm going to look at these and I'm going to be like, okay, well, that actually makes 10. So I'm going to regroup those guys. And I'm going to get a new long right there. And so then I'm going to count these and I'm like, okay, well, I'm in base 10. So there I get 10 right there. So I'm going to regroup those guys into what? A new flat. And then when I look here, I'm like, okay, well, I can get 10 of those. And in base 10, you regroup at 10. So again, I'm going to regroup into a cube. And so I didn't really, I used this to help me draw the pictures, but I'm really not even using it to do the addition. And so my final answer, I look at what I have. And so I have 0 singles. So those are my 0 singles. And I have what? 3 longs left. So there's my 3. And I have these 2 right here, 2 flats. And then I have 1 cube. And so my answer follows what I have. So these are my 0 singles, 3 longs, 2 flats, and 1 cube. So that's 1,230. And you can kind of see that. There's my 1 cube. These are my 2, 3 longs, and there's no singles over there, so I can't have anything to highlight. All right, so those are some of the methods for adding, and we'll look at subtraction in the next video.